What's actually happening? Even if you've said that somebody is a volunteer or someone agrees to work for less than minimum wage, that's not necessarily going to hold up in court. So I can't give you a straight yes or no answer, like, is minimum wage and workers' compensation required for worker shares and interns? And there's a couple of reasons why I can't tell you this exactly. First, it depends on exactly how the program is structured. How much does this look like employment? Overall, generally speaking, the more it looks like employment, the more it actually is. And because our worker share arrangements are often moving towards a more regular approach, maybe some farms are even not taking applications for these positions. Generally, if the worker share doesn't show up, we expect that person to make up that time at some other point. So this stuff tends to look much more like employment. So the question would first be, how exactly are you running these programs? Number two, this is a very hard question to answer because the law itself is unclear. I've actually written about this in an academic context and have an article coming out. If you read the academic law journals, which I hope you don't for your sake, you can find one of my articles there, and it's making this argument because it's really not clear how the law is going to handle these situations. The way the law works in this country is when there's ambiguity, we have to wait for a lawsuit to happen. We wait for a lawsuit, we argue it out in court, and we see who wins. Then whoever wins, that becomes precedent. Of course, you and I don't want to wait. We don't want to wait until something terrible happens and then we find out whether a worker share is an employee. But that's the situation we are stuck in. So my advice to you is that the safe position is to treat interns and apprentices like employees and to provide for them what you would provide to the other employees that you may have. Now, I know that that's not necessarily the reality for many folks, and I do really love worker share agreements, and I have a guide. It's available on my website, and here's the picture of what it looks like. I lay it out in two ways. You can choose whether you want to treat your worker shares like volunteers or like employees, and some of the risks are discussed here. And I have two models for whichever way you want to treat them. I think it's important that you have the resources if treating them as volunteers is the right choice for your farm. So I'm going to turn to that page and model volunteer worker share agreement. And it does say, as you'll see on the bottom, I understand and agree that I'm not an employee of the farm and I'm not entitled to or do not expect blah, blah, blah. And again, with my caveat that may not hold up in court, but there's nothing wrong with us trying our best. Okay, so check that out. If you do interns, the situation is a little more difficult. Those arrangements tend to look pretty clearly like employment, and definitely attend the employment webinar at the end of January if that is something that you do. Oh, somebody wants a citation. Somebody has a legal background. I could definitely get you a citation. The publication's not actually out yet, but will be soon. Okay. In-kind wages. So now that we've said, oh, hey, sometimes we